My name is Dan Lenahan. I'm the Marketing and Training Manager at vFlyer, and I'm going to be leading today's webinar. It's going to last somewhere between 35 and 45 minutes, depending on how many questions we have. But we're going to talk all about vMarketing, go over all the basics. I'm going to show you really how to use the service, create your own flyers, set up your account, post to Craigslist, lots of things that you'll hopefully all be doing in your vMarketing accounts. Let me go ahead and start the screen sharing right now. So in just a moment, you should see a new slide flash up on your screen. So that's my screen that you're seeing now. And I often get this question, will the webinar be recorded? Yes, we're recording the webinar, so if you need to leave early, if you forget something that I go over in the webinar, there will be a recording posted to our Help Center, so you can watch that and see what you missed. All right, well, without further ado, let's get started. First of all, you may have noticed this already. You're in listen-only mode, so you're on mute. If you speak into your phone or into your microphone, I won't be able to hear you. Since this is a group webinar, I'm going to leave you on mute during the duration of the session. But I do want you to ask questions. That is the whole purpose of these trainings, is for you to get your questions answered. So if you have questions, you can type them into the Questions tab in your control panel. And at the end of the session, I'll answer any questions that you've submitted. I'll also try and keep an eye out for questions that you submit as I'm going through different topics. So if you have a question about something that I'm going over at that moment, I'll try and answer it so it's still kind of fresh. Okay. All right, here's a brief overview of what we'll go over today. First, we're going to talk about what vMarketing is. So we'll lay it all out there. Then I'll show you how to set up your vMarketing account, because that's a good first step to take once you start using the service. I'll show you then how to create a flyer and publish a flyer, and then I'll show you how to post a flyer to Craigslist. I'm sure at least some of you are primarily interested in using your vMarketing content on Craigslist. So we'll spend some time on that. And I'll show you a couple more features, but again, I really want to stick to the basics today. I don't want to overload you with too much information. Certainly there are other features of vMarketing that we won't go over today. I'll note that we do have some more topical subject-specific webinars that we offer, and you can see those on our upcoming webinar schedule. Okay, so without further ado, what is vMarketing? Well, vMarketing is an online marketing service. It's a one-stop shop for all of your online marketing needs. And with vMarketing, we provide tools and resources to help you promote your listings, your items, your services, whatever it is you're advertising online. And specifically, that means we provide Craigslist content, social media marketing tools, email marketing, print content, and more. We offer embeddable listing widgets that you can put on your website or your blog. We have different HTML formats that you can post to different websites. So again, the idea is that you can pretty much do all of your online marketing from your vMarketing account. Now, for those of you who've been using vFlyer since before this past August, you may be confused as to why I'm calling it vMarketing and not just vFlyer. Well, vFlyer now offers two services, vMarketing and vSites. So vMarketing is the original vFlyer service. That's the one that we've been offering since we started back in 2006. And that's the one that I was just discussing. Our new service is vSites. We launched that this past August. vSites is a small business website builder and website management service. So with vSites, if you're a small business owner or a service provider or just someone who wants a website, you can create and manage your own website. You don't need a designer or a webmaster to do that. We've made it really easy to create a great-looking and highly functional website. So if you haven't checked out vSites yet, I highly recommend it. Even if you already have a website, you may be thinking about giving your website a new look. vSites would be perfect for that. So you can access vSites through our website. Just go to www.vflyer.com and you can take a look there. I'll also note that we offer separate vSites webinars. So we have a vSites for Beginners webinar that we offer every couple weeks. So keep an eye on the webinar schedule for that. So I just like to give you this context just so you understand the terminology and kind of how our service works. But again, we're going to be focused on vMarketing today. All right, so I'm going to go to my browser and we're going to get started. Okay, so I'm also going to assume that at least most of you have a vMarketing account already. So this should look familiar to you. This is the logged in homepage. So when you log into your account, you'll see something like this. Instead of saying welcome Dan, it'll say welcome your name. Just briefly, I want to go over a couple things on the homepage. First thing you might notice is this message kind of in the middle of the page that says automatic submission settings. Now, one of the services that we provide with vMarketing is listing syndication. So when you publish a flyer, one of the things that you're doing is you're automatically sending it out to various other websites. So we have about 10 different partner websites that we automatically post listings to. And the idea there is that instead of you having to repost the same ad to all these different websites, you only need to create the ad once in your vMarketing account, and we do the work of actually posting it to these different sites for you. So this message refers to certain of our partner websites that require an email address with each of their listings. So we have a separate opt-in for syndication to those sites. And you can enable syndication to those sites by clicking this link in red that says Update Syndication Settings. So if I do that now, that'll take me to a page. All I need to do is check the box for each website shown and then click Save. Since this is just a sample account, I'm not going to be syndicating any of the listings in it to any of these websites, so I'm going to go back to the home page. But that's a good idea, and if nothing else, it gets this message off of your home page so you don't need to see it every time you log in. Okay, I mentioned vSites. On your home page, you'll see this vSite service section. So here I've already created a site. If you haven't created a site yet, you can still access the vSites dashboard and create a site by clicking this button. In the latest news section, this is where we post service updates. If we've launched a new feature, we'll post a note about it there. If we're having problems on the site, some performance issues, we'll most likely post a note there as well. So keep an eye on that just to keep up with what's going on with vMarketing. And then in the free vFlyer training section, this is where we post our upcoming webinars. So again, keep an eye on that. We tend to introduce new webinars every few weeks. So in a couple weeks, we're going to be offering, actually, no, a week from today, we're going to be offering an SEO webinar. So that's going to be primarily geared towards vSites users, but we're going to go over the basics of SEO, search engine optimization. So if that's something that you're interested in, even if you aren't currently a vSites user, you can certainly sign up and hopefully you'll learn something about SEO. So anyway, keep an eye on the free vFlyer training section as that gets updated every week. And then finally, I like to point out the resources section. This has links to our online help center, which is a fantastic resource. We tried to anticipate and answer as many common questions that we get as possible in the online help center. So if you have a question or you're running into an issue, chances are it's been addressed there. So that's a good first place to look in those cases. And then also there's a link to our video tutorial library, and we have some just great videos on how to create a flyer, how to post to Craigslist, how to create a custom theme. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to be going over with you today, but the videos go into a little more detail about each of those features. So anyway, take a look at those resources. They are very helpful. Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and start setting up the account? Because again, that's a good first step to take once you're logged in. So I just clicked the Account tab at the top of the screen. And if you haven't set up your account yet, you'll get to a page that looks like this, but the fields will all be blank. So you got a field for name, email address, phone number, fax number. There's also this additional info field, and you can use that for things like a cell phone number or a license number or any other contact information that you want displayed on your flyers. You can also upload a photo of yourself. I'll note that this is not a photo of me, lest there be any doubt. This is just a stock image that we bought. This is our real estate agent, Celeste Godwin. We have a list of member association logos that you can choose from. So if you find an association that you're part of on this list, you can display that logo on your flyers. Towards the bottom of this page is a feature that we added earlier this year called the Social Media Toolbar. I really like this one. This allows you to add icons to different social networks to your flyers and then link those icons to your pages on those sites. So what that means is if we look at this account, I've added an icon for Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And in the URL field, I've entered the URL or the website address for my Facebook page, my Twitter feed, my YouTube channel, and my LinkedIn profile. And so on all of my flyers, these icons show up along with my contact information. Someone can click the Facebook icon and go right to my Facebook page. So it's a great way of bringing in your social media content into your flyers and your other vMarketing content. And this shows up, I should say the social media toolbar shows up in your listing websites that we're hosting on vFlyer.com. They also show up in your Craigslist flyers, in your emails, so lots of different places. And then finally, at the very bottom of this page is this Add Secondary Contact link. So if you click that, this allows you to add a second contact to your account. So sometimes you might be working with a partner or a co-listing agent whose contact information you want to display. This allows you to do that. And if you ever want to hide that contact information, you can just click Disable Second Contact, and that removes it. Now, using the tabs on the left side of this page, you can add other information. So for instance, if I click the Company tab, I can enter my company name, a short description of the business, a company address, and if I wanted to, I could upload a company logo down here. And you can have links. You can change some of the settings by clicking the Settings tab. You can add a different profile title. If you have a business subscription, that is a paid subscription to vMarketing, you can choose a theme. So I've got lots of themes to choose from in this account. And then you can also enable sort and search functionality on your account profile. And your account profile is the page in your account that displays all of your active listings along with the contact information that you've entered. So I just opened the account profile for this account. So you can see it's got contact information, description of the company, and social media toolbar at the top. And then below that are links to all the published flyers in this account. So this is basically a listing inventory for your vMarketing account. And we have a lot of users who actually use this page as their website if they don't have a website already. We also have users who take this page and embed it in their websites because, again, it's a nice listing inventory. It gets updated as you add or remove or edit flyers in your account. So that's the account profile. And also, on each of your flyers, by default, there's either a More Listings or a View Other Flyers link. So you can see I just opened this flyer, and I'm highlighting the More Listings link. So that'll go directly to your account profile. So it's a good idea to take the 5 or 10 minutes to put in your contact information, upload your photo to your account profile, because people will be able to get to this page, and you want to make sure that the right information is there. This account profile also uses a custom branded theme, and I'll be going over custom themes a little later on in the training. Okay. So that's the basics of setting up your account. Let's go ahead and create a flyer now. So I'm going to click the Flyers tab, and you can see in this account I already have a bunch of flyers created. So on this page, all the flyers in the account will be shown. If I wanted to create a new flyer, I would click this Create New Listing drop-down menu. And then I can choose from over 55 different product categories. Excuse me. So we have categories in real estate, rentals, autos, services, lots of merchandise categories. So pretty much anything that you want to be advertising online, chances are we have a category for it. Now, for the purposes of today's training, I'm going to use a flyer that I've already created and published that already has some content in it. So I'm going to click the Edit Listing Edit Listing link under the first flyer on my list. And that brings me to what's called the Flyer Editor. And this is where you create a flyer as well as edit a flyer that you've already created. And the Flyer Editor is very straightforward. It's basically a matter of filling in the blanks. So you have a field for title. The title should be descriptive but relatively short. So I would recommend keeping it to just a few words. In this case, this is a condo for rent. So I've entered, or I've specified the number of bedrooms in this condo, as well as the neighborhood that it's in. Down below in the description field, this is where you can enter a slightly longer description of the property or the vehicle or the item that you're selling or your service. But similarly, I would recommend keeping it to no more than 1 or 2 short paragraphs. And the reason I say that is longer descriptions that go for 5 or 6 paragraphs, they can throw off the appearance of the flyer, so they can push the rest of the content in the flyer way down on the page. Also, we found that longer descriptions in the flyer can cause issues with posting on Craigslist. So again, keep it short. You only need to really highlight the most important features of your item or your service in the description. Okay, actually, we have a question. You are editing a listing. How do you add a new listing? Well, I went over how to add a new flyer a little earlier, but let me go back to the main flyers page, and I'll do that again. So if you click the Flyers tab, towards the top of the screen, you'll see this Create New Listing drop-down menu. It says Select Type. So you would click that drop-down menu, and you would choose the type of flyer that you want to create. So for instance, if I were advertising my service or creating a flyer for my business, I would choose General Services and then click this Create button. And that'll open up a blank flyer editor. And now I can enter my title, service description. I can fill out all of these fields. So that's how you create a new flyer. So good question. I'm going to go back into the flyer that I was working on before. And I do this just because, again, this flyer already has some content entered in it, so it's a little easier to show what that looks like. Okay, in the features section, again, since this is a condo for rent flyer, we've got fields for bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. Certainly if this were a car ad, I'd have fields for make, model, year, etc. But I can also add my own custom fields by clicking Add Field. So if there's a feature or a characteristic of the condo that I wanted to highlight, I could add a field for that feature here. So I would simply enter a label for that field, and then once I've done that, I'll have a blank field that I can add a value to. Down below in the attributes section, this is even easier. Here you simply check the box for each attribute that applies. So we've got some different categories: other amenities, building amenities, rental unit amenities. And similarly to the features section, I can add my own custom attributes by clicking Add Attribute and then entering an attribute label. Okay. In the pricing section, simply enter the price of the listing. So in this case, again, this is a rental, so I enter the price per month. If this were a service that I were advertising, I might enter the rate per hour or per item. But in this case, I also have fields for available date, deposit, minimum lease, included utilities. But again, I can also add my own custom fields that relate to pricing. So as you can see, the flyer editor is very customizable. There are lots of ways of adding your own content to it. In the location information section, here I'm simply entering the address of the property. If this were a car for sale ad or a services ad, I would most likely enter the business or the dealership address. And I'll note that for the purposes of syndication, where we're sending out the listing to various other websites, it's important to add at least the city, state, and zip code. If you don't have any location information, it's going to be tough for people to find your listing on those sites. And now we get to the contact information section, and this is another reason why I recommend first setting up your account before you start creating flyers. Because as you can see, the system has pulled in my name, phone number, email address, and photo from my account. So automatically when I create a flyer, it's going to have that information in the flyer, so I don't need to re-enter it every time. Now, if I wanted to use different contact information just on a particular flyer in my account, that's easy. I just uncheck the Use Account Information box, and then I can enter a new name, phone number, email address. I can even upload a new photo and logo if I want. Okay, it looks like we have another related question. Is putting the address a requirement, or can we skip it and not show the address? It's not a requirement on vFlyer's end, but some of our partner websites, the sites that we automatically send listings to, do require at least a zip code. So if you don't have any address information and you click the Publish button, you may get a message saying such and such site requires a valid U.S. zip code. So in that case, you either add a zip code or add whatever information is being asked, or you can go to the bottom of the flyer editor and uncheck the box for that site or those sites. So not a requirement of vFlyer, but a requirement of some of our syndication partners. Okay, moving on. We get to the Choose Theme section, and this is where you can choose the design of your flyer. So vFlyer offers about 15 different standard themes that you can choose from. So those are all listed under this, standard heading. So those are available to all users. And actually, just a couple weeks ago, we added 10 custom themes that are automatically in every vMarketing account. So these themes that are labeled auto-generated, those are custom themes that we've set up in your account. And a custom theme is a theme created in our custom theme editor. It allows you to choose the colors, the fonts, the background patterns, all the design attributes of your flyer. You can create your own custom themes, or again, you can use any of these auto-generated custom themes that we just added, again, a couple weeks ago. If you wanted to create your own custom theme, the easiest way of doing that is just by clicking this Create New link. So I'm going to take a little detour and show you how to create a theme right now. So on this page, you have a few options. You can choose one of the pre-made stock theme templates in the top row. If you're a real estate agent or broker, we have a library of about 25 different real estate broker themes that you can choose from. Or you can click Create Your Own and basically start from scratch. I always use the light blue theme, but I'm going to go with the fire engine theme. So we'll mix it up today. Okay, so this is one of our stock custom theme templates, and now I'm in what's called the theme editor. And this is where I can actually customize the theme. And I do that using the tabs on the left side of this page. So for instance, if I click the Page Background tab, I have some options for different page background images. So if I wanted to do a blue and white checked background, I can choose that image. That becomes my page background. or I can upload my own background image as the page background. And then finally, I can choose just a solid page background color. So we'll do something a little seasonal there, a green background, and I can change the flyer background color if I want. So there I just made it a light gray. And if I click the title tab, just to show you, here I can change the font. So if I don't like Comic Sans, which I know people rip on Comic Sans, I actually happen to like it. But just for the purposes of demonstration, I can choose a different font for the title. I can also change the case. I can make it all uppercase, all lowercase. I can change the size. So if I wanted to make it a little smaller, I could. I want to leave it at 24. I can make it bold, and then finally I can change the color, as well as the title background color. And again, you can do that for every section of the flyer. Once you're done, click the Save button, and that saves the custom theme to your account. And now you can use this custom theme on any of your flyers. And if we go back down to the theme section, that custom theme that I just saved is automatically applied to my flyer. So that's how you do it. Aside from just being able to choose the design of your flyer, there are some other benefits of using a custom theme that I'll go over after I've published this flyer. All right, moving on. We get to the photograph section. And I'd say if you do anything to make your flyer look good, it should be uploading good photos and as many of them as you can. So nothing makes a flyer better than having really good photos in it. If you have a vMarketing business subscription, you can upload up to 26 photos per flyer. So it's really a lot of photos to work with. If you have the free version of our service, you can upload up to 9 photos. So still pretty good. And to upload photos, just click this Upload and Manage Photo Gallery link. And on the following page, click the Browse button. And then you can browse through, or you can select the photos that you want to upload to your flyer. And just a note, if you're on a PC, if you hold down the Control key as you're selecting the photos that you want to upload, that'll allow you to upload them all at once. So that'll save you some time. If you're on a Mac, I think if you hold down the Apple key, same thing. So after you've selected your photos, they'll show up on this list. Just click the Upload button to upload them. And once you've uploaded them, they will all show up at the bottom of this page. And you can rearrange them just by dragging and dropping. You can also add captions, as I've done here. So if you just click underneath any of the photos, you can type in your caption. Captions are good. They identify the photo. You can include some more information about what's special about this photo, I guess. And actually, I'll add a caption under the kitchen. Not a very creative caption, but you get the idea. All right, let's go back to the main flyer editor. So you can also add links to other websites to your flyers. So if you have a website, definitely add a link to it to each of your flyers. It's a great way to drive traffic back to your website, which should be kind of the ultimate goal. Or not the ultimate goal, but a goal. So to add a link, just click the Add Link link, and then enter a link title. That's what will show up on the flyer. So if you're adding a link to your website, you could say My Website or Our Website as the link title, and then the link URL, which is just the website address, and then click Add. And you can add multiple links to your flyer if you have multiple websites that you want to direct viewers of your flyer to. Now, if you have a business subscription, you can also embed video in your flyers. So in this case, I've embedded a YouTube video. So we support 3 online video hosts: YouTube, Flip.tv, and WelcomeMat.com. So in the case of YouTube, all you need to do is copy the YouTube URL, the web address for your video, and paste it in this field below. And that actually puts the video right in your flyer so someone can watch it without having to actually leave the flyer, which is really cool. All right. In the voice narration section, again, if you have a business subscription, you can add voice narration to your flyer. This is a feature that allows you to record a narration right over the phone for your flyer, and that narration actually plays as someone is viewing your flyer. So it's yet another way of making your flyer stand out. And you've got a couple options here. You can record a narration for each photo in the flyer, or you can just record one narration that'll play as the flyer is rotating through all of your photos. And I won't actually demo this because that would be kind of tough to do in this context. But if you want to add voice narration, just click the Add Voice Narration link and then enter the phone number that you want our system to call. And in about 15 seconds, you'll receive a call at that number. And again, you can just record your narration right there. So no special microphones or other equipment needed. All right, we're getting towards the bottom of the flyer editor. In the settings section, this is where you can choose which sites you want your listing to be automatically sent to. So in this case, I've disabled syndication for this flyer, but by default, all of these boxes would be checked. And again, this is all of the websites that vFlyer sends listings to automatically for this particular category. So depending on the category of the flyer that you're creating, the list of sites may be different. So some are real estate only, others cover lots of different categories. And then finally, in the expiry date field, you'll find the expiration date for your flyer. By default, it's 60 days from the date you've created the flyer, but you can change the expiry date. You can see if you click inside the field, a little calendar comes up. So you can choose an earlier or a later date, or you can do what I've done here, which is clear the expiry date entirely. And that leaves the flyer active until you manually unpublish it. Okay. So at this point, let's go ahead and preview what this flyer is going to look like once it's published. So on the left side of the page, I'll click the preview button. Okay, and here we go. So here's our flyer. We've got the custom theme that I just created and saved a few minutes ago. And actually, I want to change the theme. I have a custom theme that I like to use in these demos. And it's actually the same custom theme that you saw before in the account profile. Okay, so now I have my custom theme. And I mentioned before, this custom theme uses a branded header image. So that's this DL Realty image that you see at the top of the flyer. That's another feature that's available to any business subscriber. So you can upload one of these header images and display it at the top of your flyer. It's a great way of adding your branding to your vMarketing content. All right, this flyer also uses our premium layout, which is another feature only available to business subscribers. And the premium layout has this slick rotating flash slideshow. So it rotates through all of the photos in the flyer. Very nice presentation. You've got tabs across the top of the page for different pages in this flyer. So there's a links tab. I'll show you the video tab or the video page. So again, this video is embedded right in the flyer. So I can click play and watch it right there without having to go to YouTube. So that's really cool. There's also a map page. It's got an embedded Google map in it. So lots of goodies here. All right, if this all looks good, which I think it does, the next step, the last step, is to publish the flyer, or in this case, republish the flyer. So I'm going to click the republish button at the top of this page. And on that note, if you make any changes to a flyer that you've previously published, you want to make sure to republish it. If you just click the save button, it'll save the changes that you've made in your account, but it won't actually update the flyer. So click republish, and that'll update the flyer. Okay. After you publish a flyer, you'll be taken to this page, which is called the flyer summary page. And this is a good page to know, because this is kind of like mission control for your flyer. You can access all the marketing tools available to you right here. So first I want to show you the flyer link. So you can see where it says flyer link, and there's a link next to it. So you may not be aware, but when you publish a flyer, what you're doing is you're actually publishing a mini website. So that's what we're looking at right now. You can buy a domain name and map it to this flyer. So you can have a single listing or a single property website. You can link to this flyer from your own website, from your blog. There's lots of things that you can do just with this page. All right, but now I want to talk about Craigslist, because again, I know that is a major feature of vMarketing for a lot of users. So with Craigslist, unlike with our syndication partner sites, we can't automatically post listings there. Oh, and actually, we got another question that I think I missed before. So we'll pause Craigslist for just a moment. Can you add a video, like a visual tour of the condo? So currently we don't support visual tours or virtual tours specifically. If you have a virtual tour that you've uploaded to YouTube, then you would just embed that virtual tour as you would any other YouTube video. But if you have a virtual tour on a virtual tour website, then what you would need to do is add a link to that page to the link section of your flyer. There isn't a way of actually embedding that in the flyer. Or if you can upload it to YouTube, just do that, and then again, embed that YouTube video in your flyer. So, good question. All right, but getting back to Craigslist. So, since we can't automatically post flyers to Craigslist, what we do is when you publish a flyer, we automatically generate HTML content that's Craigslist compatible for that flyer. And that's what I just highlighted in this box here. And I'll say right now, you don't need to know what HTML is. You don't need to know how to use it or really anything about it. All you need to know is that you need to copy and paste this HTML code to post your flyer on Craigslist. And I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Before I do that, I want to point out another feature only available to business subscribers. And that's the choice of 10 different Craigslist layouts. So that's what you see on the left side of this page. And if you're a business subscriber and you've used a custom theme on your flyer, then you can choose any one of these 10 layouts. And you can preview any one by clicking on the layout. So this is the standard layout. This is our default. It's got a main photo at the top, description on the right, and the rest of the content below. And then you can see in the photo gallery, you've got these nice, really large photos. And again, you can upload up to 26 photos per flyer if you have a business subscription, and all of those photos will show up in your Craigslist flyer. So that's really cool. But I'll show you a couple other layouts. There's the gallery layout, which shows 3 photos at the top and then the text below that. So this is a more kind of photo-oriented visual presentation. And you'll see in the photo gallery below, we've got slightly smaller photos. So you've got 2 photo size options in the gallery. And I actually like this smaller size because you can get more photos on the screen without having to scroll down. So, personal preference. And I'll show you my personal favorite layout, which is Showcase. And the Showcase layout has this huge photo at the top of the flyer. So you can see it pretty much takes up the entire top half of the flyer. So if you have a really nice photo that you want to show off, use the Showcase layout. I think it's the best presentation for Craigslist. And then again, we've got the rest of our content from the flyer below that. There's even a thumbnail image that links to the YouTube video. We've got the social media toolbar with our contact information, and then the photo gallery. Okay, so I want to use this Showcase layout on my Craigslist flyer. So I'll click Get HTML at the top of the page. And that updates my Craigslist HTML with that Showcase layout that I just selected. Okay, and now I'm ready to post this flyer to Craigslist. So the first thing I need to do is highlight the HTML and copy it. Done. And actually, before I do that, I'll note that Craigslist has recently been more aggressively discouraging people from including an email address in the body of their posts. So they've had some problems with phishing attacks and things like that. So you may have, if you've tried posting an ad with an email address in it in the last few months, you may have gotten a message saying, please remove the email. In any case, in response to that, we added this checkbox that says exclude email from HTML. So if you check that box, it'll remove the email address from your HTML code, and you can proceed with your posting. You'll still have an email address at the top of the Craigslist post, so people can email you that way. All right, so I'm going to copy this HTML code again. And now the next step is to actually go to Craigslist. And the easiest way of doing that is to click the Launch Craigslist link. So I'll do that right now. And that takes me to Craigslist San Francisco. So Craigslist has lots of different locations. You would choose the location appropriate for your posting. And once you're here, you can either log into your Craigslist account by clicking My Account, or you can post directly to the classifieds. So I'm going to do the latter. I'm going to post to classifieds. This is a rental, so I'll choose housing offered, housing for rent. Okay. And now we're on the screen, or I should say now I'm on the screen where I can actually create my Craigslist post. And now that I'm here, all I need to do is paste the HTML code that I copied into the posting description field. So you can see it all there. It looks like gibberish, but believe me, it will render a beautiful, professional-looking flyer on Craigslist. You'll see that in just a moment. And now add a posting title. So we'll do Soma condo for rent. You don't need to enter the rent amount or the price, or in this case, the number of bedrooms. Only the fields marked in green are the ones that are required, but it's a good idea to enter some of that other information. Now, you also don't need to upload any other photos because, again, all the photos that you've uploaded to the flyer are included in your HTML code. So you can skip that step. If you've entered the address in your flyer, you also don't need to enter it here in the Craigslist post. So I'm just going to click the Continue button, and we're going to see what this flyer will look like once it's posted to Craigslist. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at that. So we've got our branded custom theme, our showcase layout with this nice, huge photo at the top. We've got the description, all the information from our flyer below, this YouTube thumbnail link. I love my social media toolbar. Someone can get right to my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, right from Craigslist. I love it. And then finally, the photo gallery. So all the photos from the flyer, again, are shown here with, in this case, a caption under each. So I'm not actually going to post this flyer to Craigslist since it's not a real listing. But if I were, it would just be a couple more steps before the ad was actually posted. So even though it's not automatic, you can see the process is really pretty quick and easy. And once you've done it a couple times, you'll be able to do it in your sleep, practically. All right. So that's the basics of posting to Craigslist. Certainly, if you have questions about Craigslist or Craigslist-related topics, feel free to ask them. All right. Now, I just want to go over, again, just a couple more features that we offer with vMarketing. So if I scroll to the bottom of the summary page, you'll see there are buttons for sharing the flyer on Twitter and sharing the flyer on Facebook. This allows you to easily post a link to your flyer to your Twitter feed or to your Facebook profile. So just click on either button. You'll be prompted to log in to your Twitter or your Facebook account. And then in just a couple more clicks, boom, you'll have a link posted. So that's super quick, super easy. It's a great way of promoting your flyers. We also have an email marketing tool that you can access by clicking Email Flyer. So I'll show you that right now. So with the email tool, It's very straightforward. You simply enter your email addresses that you want to send the flyer to, enter a subject of the email, and if you want, you can enter a short message below. You don't have to. And then you've got some options for how the flyer is sent. The default is send flyer, and that displays the flyer in the body of the email. So someone opens up the email, and they immediately see your great-looking flyer. You can also send a flyer PDF as an attachment, and that's used more if you're sending the flyer to a printer to be printed, but that's an option as well. Or you can just send a link to the flyer. But most people choose the default send flyer option. And if you have a business subscription, you can send a flyer to up to 100 different email addresses at a time. If you have a free account, you're limited to just 10 email addresses at a time. All right, we'll go back to the summary page. And we also generate a printable PDF for each flyer that you publish. So if you want to print your flyers, advertise offline, you can do that. So if I click this print flyer button at the bottom, I can simply click on one of these print layouts and generate the PDF of that flyer that I can then print or, again, send to FedEx office or another printing company to be printed. So that's a great way, again, of promoting your flyer offline, posting it around the community. If you're showing a condo for rent or an apartment for rent, as we're doing in this case, I can leave a stack of these in the unit for people to take. And I'll just go ahead and click on one of these PDF layouts so you can see what that looks like. And in the meantime, it looks like we've got a question. Oops. Okay, how did you change/review the Craigslist posting photo size of your flyer? Again, good question. Let me go back. Oops. Okay, but you can see here, this is the PDF using the gallery layout. Same as the gallery layout for Craigslist. So 3 photos at the top, text below, and then we've got a second photo gallery page in this case. All right, let me go back to the summary page, and I'll show you again how to choose between the different photo gallery sizes. So there are 10 different layouts. Each layout has 2 photo gallery sizes. So the larger of the 2 are huge photos. So these layouts will all say layout name with huge photos. So gallery with huge photos, window with huge photos. So if you want the larger photos, choose that one. If you want the smaller photos, choose the one labeled big photos. So gallery with big photos, window with big photos, etc. And you can see here in the little image, the photos on the left are larger than the photos on the right. Okay, good question. Another question. How do we schedule a public open house? And if we do that, who'd automatically see it without adding to any other social media link? Okay, let me see if I can understand this question, make sure I answer it correctly. So if you're talking about an open house for a property that you're selling, typically people will note that in the title of the flyer or at the top of the description. So they'll say the date and time of the open house. And you can always go back afterwards and remove that section and republish the flyer. But that's typically how people do it. Let me see if I can. And if you do that, if you note that it's an open house coming up on such and such date, when you republish the flyer in 24 to 48 hours, that information will be updated on all the sites that we've automatically posted the flyer to. So it's a good idea for that reason to give yourself at least a few days to make that change. Okay, another question. How do you choose the flyer style and then send via email as a PDF. So if we go back to the email page, and someone was paying attention because they saw when I click the Send Flyer PDF radio button, there's this drop-down menu on the right. And here I can choose any one of the 5 PDF layouts. So I simply choose the layout that I want and then click Send. And that sends a PDF of the flyer in the layout that I selected. Now, one thing I forgot to note, these 5 layouts, these are only available for business subscribers, again, using a custom theme. If you're a free user, or if you're just using one of our standard themes, you're going to be limited to just the standard layout, which just has one photo at the top, description to the right. So just something to be aware of. But this is how you would choose a PDF layout to email. Okay, good questions. Any other questions? Follow-up to the previous question, how do you know what the format of those layouts is? So if you go to the print layouts page, and I'll note you'll see there's a print layouts and an email link at the top of the summary page. We'll go back to the summary page. So we've got print layouts, email and SMS, and then at the bottom of the page, same thing, email flyer, print flyer. So if we go to the print layouts page, this is where you can download the PDF. And in this case, since I'm a business subscriber using a custom theme, I have access to all 5 of these layouts. So if you want to see what they look like applied to your flyer, just click on each one of them, and that'll generate the PDF in that layout. And so you can see what it looks like. And once you have one that you like and that you want to send out, then go to the email tool and choose that layout from this drop-down menu. All right, before we finish up, I also want to just quickly point out widgets. So if you've logged into your account once or twice, you may have noticed this widgets tab at the top of the page and wondered what the heck that was referring to. So a widget is a way of promoting your vMarketing listings on your website or your blog. So any user can create a widget. And I'll just quickly note that we offer widgets that display just one flyer from your account and widgets that display multiple flyers. And we've got all kinds of different widget styles in different shapes and sizes. So depending on where on your website or your blog you want to display this widget, you've got lots of options. And I know it can be a little abstract, so I like to provide an example of this. This is the website of a current vMarketing user. She is a real estate agent. And you can see at the bottom of her homepage, she actually shows 2 vMarketing widgets. So the one on the left shows the 3 most recent flyers from her account. So there's a thumbnail for each, a link to the flyer under each one. And then the widget on the right rotates through the main photo of each of her published flyers. And the cool thing is I can click on any one of these photos and be taken to that corresponding flyer. And the way she's set it up, as she adds or removes flyers from her account, those changes will automatically be reflected on this widget. So she really doesn't need to do anything to maintain this widget on her on her website. It updates automatically. So that's the skinny on widgets. We have some more specific help content in our Help Center about widgets. So if it's something that you're interested in, take a look there or contact us and we can help you with that. All right. Well, that about does it for everything that I wanted to go over today. You guys have asked great questions so far. Anyone have any final questions? Let me make sure I answered all of them. Yep, I think I did. All right. Well, if no one has any other questions, then I just want to thank you again for taking the time this afternoon to attend this training. I hope you learned something new about vFlyer and vMarketing. If you have questions after we finish today, again, take a look at our help center, support.vflyer.com. You can also click the support link in the top right corner of your account. That'll take you there as well. If you don't find your answer there, or you would prefer to talk to a real person, we have a support team that's there to help you. You can reach us by email at support@vflyer.com or by phone. Our 800 number is on the slide there, as well as on, I think, every page of our website. So you can give us a call. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions and help you. All right, let me make sure there are no other questions. Okay, I think we're good. Well, again, thanks everyone, and have a great rest of the afternoon.